After 3 weeks of game development, I decided to participate in a game jam. For those who don't know, a game jam is a hackathon where the participants had to make a game, obviously. For me, it was a good opportunity to learn how to do a 2D game that I had never done before and have some fun, of course. The theme of this game jam was Rewind, and I joined 5 days late, so I had to do it in about 8 hours because I didn't want to spend more time on this. The concept of the game is very simple. You can move like in a normal platformer, like jumping and going through all directions. But you can also teleport into these different 9 cells in the map. The teleport works by copying the relative position to the player. So if the player is like here and you want to teleport to this cell, the player will move to this exact position, the relative position in this cell. So you can see it like that, and it also copies the relative position when you're jumping and the physics process where you're jumping. The other mechanic of the game is the bombs and the rewind, of course. The bombs are these little boxes that could be any other thing, but they are bombs, and they can destroy the tiles if they are not picked in the right time, that is before they explode. And you can rebuild these tiles that has been destroyed by picking up these rewind boxes. The first step was to set up the tiles, which I didn't really know how to do. But I knew there was a tutorial by Hatbeast, which is a very good content creator that makes tutorials and courses on YouTube for free, that you can check it out. And after that, I tried to set this tile set with a placeholder. The one that you're looking at right now is not a placeholder, it's the final product. But I started with a placeholder to start things up. This tile is very simple. It has a background, which is these yellow sand tiles that don't collide with anything. And then we have the tile map, which are the walls and the platforms and collide with the player. And the final layer is the broken layer that has basically nothing until I fill it with these tiles that indicates that the cell has been broken. The second step was to build this function that is the main function that the game uses and that transforms the global position of a call in the game to a cell position. That is, if you have, for example, an object in this position and you call this function, it's going to give you 1, 3. And if you have an object in the position 100, 100, like here, you would get the 3, 1 cell, and that is used by the player to teleport, but also by all the other objects in the game, like the bombs and the rewind boxes, to know where they are, so that the world can say, okay, so now destroy this cell or rewind this cell. After that, I went into coding the movement of the player, which is very simple. It's just this platform-like movement that you saw in the beginning, and also the teleport, that it was also very easy to implement. The position of the mouse with this pass to cell function, and then takes the current position of the player, and with that it computes the relative position that the player has to move to the other cell. To add a bit more complexity into the game, I coded the same behavior that these rewind boxes have to these spinners that if you touch will kill you. With the main mechanic of the game done, I went into doing this pixel art stuff that I have never done before, and I think I didn't choose the right software for this I used Inkscape, that is a very nice free and open source software, but I don't think it's very well suited for this pixel art stuff. I think I should have used Sprite or Krita if I wanted free open source stuff like Inkscape. But well, I did these rewind boxes with the platforms and well, all the tiles, and also this character that it's supposed to be a robot samurai, but I don't think it's anything at all. With all the objects in the game in place, I worked a bit in the difficulty of the game. Since it's a endless platformer, it has to work in a way that the more you play it, the more difficult it is. So I use some step function and some logistic functions to accomplish that. And they're a bit crazy, but for example, we have this rewind spawn time that goes down the more boxes you have with a step function. So if you have collected, I think 15 boxes, it will go 2 seconds down. So the rewind boxes will spawn more frequently. And the same can be said for the bombs. So if you have collected here 25 bombs, they will start spawning 2 at a time and 3 at a time, etc. And I worked on some logistic function for the time to explode given the rooms exploded. That is, if you have 8 rooms remaining, you're going to have a time to explode of 12. If you have 1 remaining, you'll have to have like 9 or something. And the same for the spin spawn time. So it will be more difficult the more rooms have exploded and the more boxes you have collected. For the audio and the sound effects, I use this Leslie Laugh that is like VFXR, but it's online on the browser because my OS doesn't support VFXR, I think. I'm not very sure, but I think so. And well, to edit the audio that I made myself, like the flash effect that you will see now, I use Audacity. That is, a common software in doing this kind of stuff. The audio final, setup is the one that you hear. The last step was to upload my game to itch.io and submit it to the Game Jam. I uploaded for all desktop platforms, Linux, Mac and Windows, and also for HTML, so the game jammers, I guess, can play on the browser without having to download anything. And I think that's very good to have more feedback. And I indeed received a lot of feedback, and I think it's good feedback overall. The points to improve, I guess, are that it is not very polished, like you can say here, and that's true. I mean, I did it in 8 hours instead of 1 week, and it should be more polished for this game jam, I think. And also that it kind of missed the theme, and absolutely, that's true. I mean, the core mechanic is teleporting and not rewinding something, so I have to agree on that too. But I'm very happy with all the feedback I received that I was not expecting, and I've tried to play a lot of games to get into the mood of game jams, I guess. That's all I wanted to say for this video. Thank you for watching, and you can play the game in hoststudio.itch.io that I don't know how to pronounce. I will leave a link down below. Thank you so much.